So what you could do is you could actually have a look and see kitchen wipes, kitchen clean wipes for benches, right? So the next thing I would do is probably ask your wife exactly where she uses it. Is it the countertops or is it the oven screen, right? So find out exactly where she's using it and then have a look online and see if there's anyone that's doing kitchen wipes for marble benches or whatever it is, right? Another one is there's like glass cloths. There's really good glass cloths, so you can probably look at repurposing that. The best research and market research is at home. Trust me, it starts there first. There's something that you're using on a day-to-day basis that you don't realize that you're doing that's different. So for me, usually people have a certain rule where they'll say, make sure the product is more than $25 or $40 or $50. So my rule is quite simple, and that is as long as the profit margins work, right? So I think that you should always be aiming, let's say, for 50% or 60% profit margin, any way that you can actually do that. So usually I'd have a bunch of ideas and then I would write, and again, the reason why it's a little bit tricky is because it depends what strategy you're doing, right? So if you're looking at a bundling strategy, it's pretty straightforward to work out the cost because you'd look at the main product, and if you're not changing really anything with the main product, you're just doing the bundle, well, the main product will be the similar price to everyone else's, right? And you can easily work out your profit margins based on that. And then the second thing is, if you're looking at a single product, so you want to differentiate that single product and you want to make the product better, well, your product should be worth more. It should be worth 30, 40, 50% more than the actual competitors. So it's a bit of a tough question, but I would say that at the end of the day, once you get to the stage of contacting suppliers and you have your list of products that you're thinking about, once you know the price or the manufacturing price of that particular type of product, then what you could do is you could work out how much you'd need to sell it for, right? And see whether or not that's going to be realistic. And that is going to be realistic based on either how much you've differentiated that single product. Like if you know your product is exactly the same as anyone else's, well, firstly, you shouldn't be launching it, but it's very similar, then you probably can't charge too much, right? So if all of your competition are charging 20, but let's say you only have a different color, then you can maybe only charge like 25 or 24, then you can work out your profit margins based on that. If you have a product that's very differentiated, then you can probably charge 30, 35. But again, it's a little bit complex. You probably need all the data and all the information, before we get to that. But I will do a call actually about this, about pricing and all that jazz. I don't think there's a short way of explaining it. If your product is differentiated, because I know you mentioned your product the other week and I thought that was really a great way of differentiating your product. So if you have a single product that's already differentiated, I wouldn't even bundle it, right? Because your single product is already differentiated. Bundling is really only for if you wanted to do an air tag that looked exactly like everyone else's, but then add a torch with it. Right now, that would lend itself to bundling, right? Because it's the same product as everyone else's, and what you're doing is you're adding the torch to add that value. But if your product is differentiated already, that single product, then I wouldn't need to bundle it, right? So look at them as two completely separate strategies. If I have one product that's differentiated really well, it's unique, it's original, no one is selling it, just sell that on its own. If I'm finding it hard to basically differentiate that product, or I have a really good idea to bundle, that's two same products, but put them together, then do that, right? So, try to keep them separate.